So this is Melina with How's Your Mental Health with Melina and Beth. I am Melina, and the crazy person is.
I'm Beth.
And she's looking like that because we see each other before we start the recording. And I always ask how I look, and she asks how she looked, and I told her she looks as good as a crazy person can look.
She's so funny. And she knows I'm a little hypersensitive because I still got that little bit of a blister from having the shingles,
And
the last
everybody
2
tell her
weeks.
she looks great.
Yeah.
And you can barely see it.
But having the that was the pits because it was all blown up.
I know it.
That's
and
why
here I go having to clean my glasses. I was going to do it beforehand, and I totally forgot.
that's why I had to do this last week.
Get that off in there.
Okay.
It was too serious last week because we didn't have your facial features. So I told you, you're the comic relief.
Ha ha. Ha, ha. Well, I'll tell you what, I had a fantastic day today. I got my mom, which I can never talk her into doing anything on like the spontaneous moment for spontaneity. And I texted her and I said, let's go to Famous Louise's in Linville and eat lunch. And she goes, well, I wish you'd have talked to me earlier. So I called her. I said, well, what's any different? You going to get dressed to go to church? So if you're getting dressed to go there, I said, we could just hop in the car and go enjoy us a mountain ride because it's so pretty. I mean, it got gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
It was gorgeous today.
At 6:30 today, it was 80 degrees. So.
Oh, I know. By the time we got back, it had hit above 80. But
yeah,
we had beautiful views. Lunch was absolutely delicious. Went to that little country store that's across from that place and did a little shopping and then rode back a completely different direction from which we rode up. And we got to see a lot of the things that I hadn't seen in a long time because my grandparents lived in Bellwood, North Carolina. And so we came back along that way just to see what the old home place looked like. And it was just so beautiful. But it was a good day. Good day.
It's always good to spend a day with your mom.
Yeah. And then we got back to her house and Parker and Jack came over and we were teaching them how to play checkers. And
by the way, those are her nephews.
Yes. So it was a fun day.
Well, that's good. Family is very important as long as it's not a toxic family.
Fun day Sunday.
Yep. And myself, me and Rocky had a very relaxing Sunday. I am doing something I normally don't do, and I'm actually binge watching a show on TV. Well, it's on Netflix. It's The Good Witch. I started it Thursday afternoon, and I am now on the 4th season, episode 5 or 6. So I am.
Now, see, I thought you'd be in about season 5 or 6 by now.
Well, I stopped early yesterday. Rocky wanted some loving, and I need to make sure I still pay attention to my baby. And he's over here snoring, so.
Of course, he wore out now.
But we walked the food line today, and we just had a very relaxing day. We sat out on the balcony for a little while, and just a very relaxing day, and something I needed.
Fantastic.
So, but
we both got what we needed today.
Yep, that goes into. I'm going to put this picture up here before I even say what we're doing. And again, bear with me, learning how to do this. We are talking about self-sabotaging. And as you can see, this gentleman is definitely self-sabotaging.
I would say definitely.
Do you have any thoughts on this picture, Beth? That are beneficial?
I have several. They're probably not beneficial.
That's why I added that point in there. Now, I am going to put up. I have a lot of things for you to see today. So this here's going to be just the first one. We sabotage, and forgive me for my language, some words I have trouble pronouncing. We sabotage the great things in our lives because deep down we don't feel worthy of having the great things. And I liked that because it talks about the bigger picture. Okay, some of the definitions I have talk about the smaller one, but this here talks about the bigger picture. For me, I would have to say my self sabotage for a great thing would be that it took a year for me to get this thing going because number one, I kept telling myself I couldn't do it. Beth had wanted to start sooner than we did, but I kept putting it off saying, I really
No,
just
no, no,
don't
no,
know.
no, no, no. I didn't want to start sooner.
No, you kept
I wanted you to start sooner.
Well, exactly. Exactly. But she finally had told me that we could do it together. Because I am very self-conscious and I don't believe if Beth was there, right there, I would be able to do this. And that is self-sabotaging because she wants me to be able to do this on my own at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the time, but once in a while, like today she took off for a while and I could have done it on my own had I felt more confident. Myself, I'm telling myself in my head, I can't do it. It's too much. And it really isn't. It's fun. And so that's my own greater picture type deal.
And watch. She freaks out when I go away.
Not with that, just when you leave totally. Do you have any things that you do self-sabotaging with a big picture?
Sure.
That you're willing to share?
Well, sometimes you get things in your mind that you feel like is going on in the background. 9 times out of 10, your gut tells you, and you pretty much know it. But sometimes you can overcompensate for anticipating like some demise or some bad thing, and then you end up sabotaging yourself and making a bigger mess out of what probably wouldn't have been a big mess to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And because a lot of times you just overthink it, and instead of just sitting back and watching how things unfold.
Right.
Especially when you're dealing with work stuff, because you never know how people react.
Well, not only work, you just can't predict how people react in general.
Well, yeah, that's true. I guess I think more work because there's more things that I focus on, and I need to focus more on not work stuff, and just because.
Especially when you're at home.
Exactly. And I think I've done very well the last 2 weeks. I took a break.
Well, you had to.
From a lot of stuff and quit listening to some news, cut down on some communication with some folks because it was steering me in a bad direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't need that bringing me down.
Right.
I got to stay up. I'm an up person, and I'm not accustomed to being a Debbie Downer, and I don't want nobody's down that's bringing me down because it makes me feel really bad.
Yeah, but as I always say, we can't. How other people feel, if we go that way, we're allowing them to bring us down.
Yeah, your reaction to their thing? What was that phrase?
That one my QP had said.
Yeah.
If you won't take advice from this person, do not accept their criticism.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And that makes a lot of sense.
I'm glad you remembered that because I thought that
I love that, and I'm so thankful that he had told me that.
You need to type that up in big letters and keep it always.
I do. All right, now this one here. Let's see if I can. No, it won't let me blow it up. I'll read it. Self-sabotage. Now this here is a poem, and the link is on the bottom of the poem if you want to blow it up on yourself and see it. It's from hellopoetry.com/poem/1815697 to give the credit where the credit's due. And I think this is from a book called Silver Lining. I am not sure. It is the title of the poem is Self-Sabotage. When something happens in my life, I tend to make it worse. Dig myself a deeper grave. Maybe it's self-sabotage. I get what I deserve. And I wanted to focus on the last line, I get what I deserve, because a lot of times with self-sabotaging, we may or may not be consciously aware of what we're doing, but we feel like we're getting what we deserve.
And that's not true, but that is basically what I was saying just a minute ago.
What do you mean it's not true?
Well, because we don't deserve
Oh, okay.
ill will stuff,
Right. That's just how we feel.
Right.
Sometimes we feel like for me, for a long time, I felt like if I did something wrong or if I made a mistake, no matter how minor it was, I deserved to be punished, no matter what the circumstance was. And that's just not the case. And now my third one is self-sabotage. What we do to ourselves when we think deep down that we aren't really deserving of the rewards that come from our hard work. If this is you are deserving. Hang in there. And that's why I use that as the last definition, because I love that last line.
Yep.
Because again, it's talking about deserving, how we feel like we don't deserve and we do something to sabotage what's the good in our life.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think here. I had talked to a friend of mine today because I know I did a lot, and I mean a lot of self-sabotaging when she first met me. And her and I talked, and she had said that I used to play dumb, like I didn't understand something, and just so that I wouldn't have to
be recognized or stand out.
Yeah, I didn't want to stand out. I didn't want to be recognized, and I still don't. But I'm not going to say I'm dumb or I'm stupid anymore because I'm not. I can play dumb very well. But yes, that was me.
I thought that was a great time to play the donkey sounds.
But we all do that in one form or another. We all pretend that we're somebody we're not because we're afraid of the results, whether good or bad. Beth, have you? I know you do, so I'm not going to say if. If you feel up to sharing, what are some times that you have pretended to be someone you were or were not because you were afraid of the consequences?
Well, it's not so much as being afraid of the consequences. It's sometimes you recognize like maybe a limitation, or you recognize that you might know something, but somebody else needs to shine and give that answer instead of you. And sometimes it's good to sit back and let somebody else shine.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, that's one instance. Another instance I could think of is that sometimes it's just not worth interjecting or trying to make a point of something, like if somebody's incorrect or wrong or something like that. because it just makes things worse.
Mm-hmm.
To try
That didn't answer my question.
Did it not?
No.
What it did?
No.
Tell me, ask me your question again. You're getting so politically correct on me.
Listen to my words.
Okay. As she's using the same phrase that I used on her this week.
Has there ever been a time when you pretended to be someone that you either were or were not because you're afraid of the consequences?
Yes. I think we all do that.
Yeah, I know we do, but would you like to share?
I can't think of a way to put it that it would not. It's not. Everybody's so focused on political correctness.
I'm not.
Well, I know, but a lot of people, a lot of people are totally focused on political correctness. And where's that sign you got me one time?
Not politically correct, just correct.
Because there's some things that are just correct. There's just a correct way of doing it or saying it. But sometimes, because there's other people involved or their values, their feelings, their judgments, sometimes to keep the peace with the individual or anything else, sometimes you have to refrain from just being correct to letting them be what they're going to be.
To keep peace, you're just agreeing with what they say.
Yeah. So
to speak.
Does that make sense or answer?
Yeah, it does. It does kind of. But do you think that's self-sabotaging or do you think that's self-preserving? Because there's two different things.
I think it's self-preserving.
Because self-sabotaging would be doing something like I said.
Self-sabotaging to me is like if I am the world's worst, and if my mama is watching this, she will say, "Yes, that's Beth Wilson." Because if my mama says you can't have a glass of wine,
you'll do it.
Guess what Beth Wilson's going to do?
Even if you really can't have that glass of wine.
And even if I don't really want it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I'm not in the mood to have it.
Now I have a question.
Yeah.
Is the end result worth that glass of wine?
No.
So that's self-sabotaging.
There you go.
Okay?
You talked me into it.
Now, there are 3 lists, and there's only one that repeats on all 3 lists.
Yeah.
And so that tells you how pertinent that one or how popular that one is in the self-sabotaging. Go ahead. I know you want to say it. Go ahead.
Milo sweet tea from Food Time.
Okay, here's the first list. And I think this is the longest. I have one that has some little blurps underneath it, so I'm not sure which one's the longest. So, are you self-sabotaging yourself? I'll answer these questions. Beth, you're going to answer them as well. Okay? And Beth did not know I had all this stuff set up. I just told her when she was ready, we were going to do it. So
I know. I pulled up a couple things. She goes, "Don't need that. Don't need that. I got the same picture in my round up." Okay.
So the first one is: do you procrastinate and constantly put things off? I do. I am one of the worst procrastinators.
I am somewhat. I'm not totally, no.
It depends on what it is. If it's something that's like important, I'm sorry, I have got a tickle, like with my apartment or something that deals with finances or whatever. I try not to put it off. I may unintentionally put it off. I'm not sure if that's the same thing, but I do sometimes forget. But
I put off cleaning out closets because that drives me
yes,
nuts.
you do, and you put off cleaning out drawers and
Oh yes,
giving things away. And
drives me bonkers cleaning out stuff.
no, see, I love it. That is one of the things I absolutely, positively love. And okay, the next one is, do you miss deadlines? I do not.
No,
Deadlines to me they're there for a reason. Okay, I may wait till the last minute sometimes, depending on the situation, but I won't miss it.
yeah.
All right. Do you hold back rather than engaging fully and passionately in your life? Sometimes I do.
Some days it's too tiring to engage. Or
Sometimes.
sometimes you just don't feel confident about yourself
Mm-hmm.
at that point in time to do the engaging.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. The next one is, do you fail to complete projects or tasks? Depends on what it is.
Yeah, it does.
So, I mean, that would, like important stuff, I don't think I failed to complete them. Now I do have several projects going, but that's just how I work. I have several things going at one time, and I generally complete them all. It just.
You do because you make your checklist in your daily journal, and
Mhm.
there you go.
So, let's see here.
Now that's where we could tell folks that's a good idea. That if you don't do it and you want to make a list so that you can accomplish things without self sabotaging, is to get you a daily planner and make notes like the way you've been doing.
Yeah, and with that, one of the things that and I'm not sure I have it up here. I don't think I do. I wish I had kept it. I've read a lot of these little things, these little quotes, and I can't keep everything that I read. So that was one that I had discarded, and now I wish I didn't, because it talked about um, and I'm not even going to think of it. My mind's drawing a blank.
That's all right. Going to the next one,
All
dear.
right. Do you quit things just as you begin to succeed at them? I do at times. I do. Because I was ready to stop this whole thing when I was having all that technical difficulty. And I talked with Beth, and she says it's my decision. But I talked to a few other people, and they says, you've got to give it a chance. You've got to give it a chance. It's just starting. You're working out the bugs. You got to give it a chance. So, and I'm still just starting. I mean, I'm thankful for everybody who watches, and it's just a project that's still blooming.
Yep. And I'm particularly proud of you to continue it because especially your social workers that work with you, your program workers with the program that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they commend you and they're happy to see the success
Mm-hmm.
because they're also piggybacking off of you with their other
Well,
clients.
and other clients are piggybacking off of me because they've had other clients starting up their own stuff.
Yeah, which
But
is
because
great.
of the HIPAA law, I don't know who they are, so I wouldn't be able to
Right.
look them up. But let's see here. Are you stuck in what you thought would be a temporary situation? And I have to honestly say, I don't believe I am, because every day seems to be. I'll just give an example. Um, I used to think when I lived in the assisted living centers, I went there for temporary. I did. I went what I was assuming was temporary. It was never my choice except for the last time. And that last time did end up being temporary. But I was stuck. I didn't know how to get out. I didn't know who to reach out to. So, yes, I was stuck. Have you ever thought that, Beth, or felt that way?
Oh, yeah. But what I've been impressed with you is that even from your first apartment that you lived in, when I first met you, you had notes up that said, when you came out of the kitchen, don't forget turn off the stove.
Mm-hmm.
You had notes, don't forget keys.
Mm-hmm. I
Don't
still
forget
do.
don't forget turn on lights. But it's not like it used to be.
Right.
They're not like notes for every single thing like you
Right.
used to have. And for that, I think that's why I think no, you're not stuck in a rut like you were because
Mm-hmm.
you've been growing,
Yeah.
little
But that's
alone.
something that you can do if you feel like you are stuck. Do little things like that. Remind yourself of little things that you need to do. I've got something on my door now. I've got a checklist. Do I have my phone? Do I have my wallet? Do I have my water bottle? Do I have my keys? Those are the 4 things.
Because she will walk out without that purse quicker than anything.
Yeah. And I
Boom.
mean, now I don't always have my water bottle because that's not top priority, but I do make sure I have those other things. That checklist is important to me. And your checklist may be something different. Your checklist may be at night. Did I lock the door? Did I take my medicine? Did I let the cat out? Whatever. Sometimes we need checklists to remind us, or
Who let the cat out? Ooh,
that's not what
ooh,
it
ooh,
is.
ooh, ooh. Oh, it's not.
um, let's see here. Now this here I don't. Well, let me read it. Do you blame others or bad luck when you don't succeed? I don't blame others, but I have said that's just rotten luck. I don't blame others for what happens to me. I don't even blame my family for the abuse that I went through. Um, because
Oh, you
that's,
don't?
huh?
I've never heard you do that.
Yes, it was their choice, but they had their own, and I don't usually cuss, but I'm going to this time. They had their own shit, you know, and they just did what they knew what was right, even though it wasn't. So I don't blame them. And if you blame others, you're gonna get stuck. You know, we all take responsibility for our own actions. Um, And one of the topics that what we will talk about at some point is forgiveness. So we won't go into that right now. But Beth, have you ever blamed others or bad luck when you don't succeed in something?
Pretty much, because I have the luck of, I have no luck.
Yes, you do. You've got good luck because you met me. All right. Do you get an itchy quotation marks or uncomfortable feeling inside when you think about what you're making of your life? And that I do. I look at what I've accomplished the last few months and I get uncomfortable. It's like, okay, what's gonna happen? Where's that shoe gonna come from? And that is my own self-sabotaging. And I have to talk myself down from that hypothetical ledge, before I take that leap into self-sabotaging everything that I've accomplished. Beth, do you ever do that? Do you ever get that uncomfortable feeling?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to put myself on mute for a second.
Okay.
You keep going.
Okay. All right, let's see here. The next one is signs you may be self-sabotaging. You tend to procrastinate. We talked about that with the other one. You dwell on your mistakes. I do that. I cannot let go of my mistakes. So that is one of my faults. You break promises to yourself. And I do that constantly. One of my promises that I made to myself was that I would walk every day. I started out doing good, but my hips started hurting, my legs started hurting, and I stopped. So let's see. Are you intently fearful and full of criticism? Yes, I am. I criticize myself daily. I mean, there's not a day that goes by that I do not find a fault in something that I either say, did, the way I look, whatever. So, yeah, I do that constantly. I see you're off of mute now, Beth. So, do you have anything about the criticism one? It's number 4.
I agree with you.
That's it. That's what you were looking for. You refuse to seek help. Now, a friend of mine, well, she's my sister-in-law. Her and I were talking about this earlier, and I hate asking for help. I know Beth hates asking for help. But when we reach that point where we know without succeeding, without help, we'll ask for that help. We know when we reach that limit to where we know we can't do it, we'll ask for the help.
Yep.
You agree?
Oh, yeah, I got to reach that point. And then instead of asking for help, I'll usually see if I can find somebody that I can hire to do it so that I don't either obligate myself to having to follow up because I ask for something. Because 9 times out of 10, the way I've always seen it is when you ask for help, they always want something in return.
Mm-hmm.
It drives me bonkers.
Right.
It's like, don't volunteer to help me if you didn't really mean
exactly
you were going to help me.
So you ask for help, but in a way, you still self-sabotage because you don't let your friends help you.
That's true.
So, yeah.
That's true.
You make excuses for your behavior. I don't think I do that. I may at some points, especially
Is she talking about me?
I mean, I don't really think I do that. I may. Beth, you can't put yourself on mute because you already heard the question. Let's go. Come on. Beth.
Yes.
You can volunteer if you'd like, but you don't have to.
What's that?
Number 6. And I know you already heard it, so.
I don't make excuses for my behavior. I'm an idiot and I know it.
But sometimes you blame others.
Well, there is a reason why I act as stupid as I do sometimes.
But nobody can make you act a certain way.
It's usually somebody else's fault that I've had to act like a lunatic.
But nobody can make you act a certain way. You
but their actions cause me to act like a lunatic.
No, you choose that action.
She doesn't like any of the answers that I give. Have you noticed?
Do you not communicate your expectations? Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's hard to communicate. What about you?
Huh?
Yeah. Like I told y'all, she's our comic relief.
Next question, please.
Do you not communicate your expectations?
Next question, please.
Okay. You have fear of hard work. Now, I don't have that fear. No. I will work hard. I mean, I don't care what I'm doing, whether I'm cleaning toilets or what, I'll do it. And I'll put 110% in it. I don't fear hard work.
I've been working since I was younger than 15, but 15 where you can actually work and make a little extra money. And I've just worked ever since.
Well, I was allowed to work until I had graduated high school. I had one job during the summer when I was 16, and I had a couple of babysitting jobs here and there. But as far as actual working, I wasn't allowed to. But within a month of graduating high school, I had a job, and
Well, this
I,
was like, to have money for gas and
I wasn't
do
allowed
stuff
to
like
do,
that.
I
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to do that. But all right, you prioritize what is comfortable rather than what is healthier.
Heck yeah.
I
It's a heck it's a heck of a lot more comfortable sit in that recliner and watch TV than it is to get up and walk.
Yep, I was talking about them while you were on mute that I had promised myself because one of them that you had missed was break promises to yourself, and I had promised myself that I'd walk, and my hips started hurting, my leg hurts. Sometimes I can hardly get up the stairs. So all of those negative talks had stopped me from walking.
Mm-hmm.
And although I know it's healthier for me to get out there, it's more comfortable, as you say. Well, for me, it'd be sitting on my couch and binge watching The Good Witch, So, yeah.
And here, let us say and remind everyone, we are not healthcare professionals.
Oh, by no means. You're
Next question.
always ready to argue, even over things that don't really matter. And I'll have to say, normally for me, I hate picking a conflict. I hate picking an argument. If my meds are not right, I can pick an argument faster than crap. And not even realize it until it's pointed out to me.
And I can too, since I'm coming off my meds.
So let's go with the next one. Next list. Now, this is one that has little blurbs underneath it. I'll look on this one over here so I can see it.
Yeah.
Self-criticism.
We can't see any of it.
Yeah. I don't think. See, that made it bigger, but not much for you guys. Self-criticism. There is a voice in your head that fills you with self-doubt. It makes you think that you are not good enough. So you end up not believing in yourself and losing your self-worth. We had that on one of the others, self-criticism. And I already said I criticize myself daily. Beth, what about you?
Dun, dun, dun. I was trying to find that music.
Beth?
What's the question again?
Self-criticism. Notice when she doesn't want to answer, she pretends to not hear. That is self-sabotaging.
Deflection.
All right. Negativity. You don't see the beauty in the world, and you're always, and notice the word always, have a negative comment about everything. We all have that inherent negativity bias, but people who self-sabotage are more prone to expressing this negativity. Now, I can be negative sometimes, trust me. I can be that doubting Thomas. I'm good at being a doubting Thomas. But I would have to say yesterday, I mean, it wasn't no particular day. Can't even think of. Yeah, I went to your place and cleaned. On the way to your place, I was looking not around because I was driving, but it was a beautiful morning, and I was just like, so much has happened in my life, and I am so happy where I'm at right now. Got a wonderful boy, and he's I'll say 99% of the time, where I am, he'll be. If you want to find him, all you gotta do is find me. So Yeah, I don't do that as much as I used to. Beth, I don't see you as a negative person.
Thank you. I try not to be.
So I really don't see you as. I know you have your moments, but I really don't see you as a negative. I won't even ask it because I really don't see you as a negative person. Procrastination. This one has been on all 3 lists. And one of the things that I had read while looking for all this stuff, and I think it's true, procrastination is the most enjoyed self sabotage. Somebody's having a hot flash.
No, I was getting cold.
Oh, okay.
So I
Did you
turned
hear
it up.
that?
I had to
Did
cut
you
it
hear
off.
that?
Woo.
No.
What?
Did you hear that last part?
No, I did not.
When I was looking through all this stuff, one of the things that came up was procrastination is the most enjoyed self sabotage we use. And I kind of agree because I don't know a person who doesn't procrastinate.
Well, that's true. Especially something that's not going to be much fun to do, like
Right.
cleaning out a closet or. Ugh.
Disorganization. Now, I don't think this is me. Organizing your life takes time, but once you get the hang of it, things will get much easier. Think about organizing your space and your time, keeping track of all of your commitments.
I got to organize junk piles.
Yeah, 4. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 junk drawers.
Who?
6.
Those other places hold things.
In order to find something, you have to dig through them.
Where's my farm animal sound?
All right, now this one here, my sister-in-law kind of explained the title to me because I wasn't quite sure. Imposter syndrome. Remind yourself every day that your success all boils down to your capabilities, your actions, attitudes, and character are all under your control. Remember, I said your, not somebody else's, Beth.
True.
Your control.
That's true.
Now, Beth, what do you think about the title, though, imposter syndrome? Because I still don't think that fits the definition.
That one's kind of tough. Do you not think?
Tough to answer or tough not to do?
Both.
Well, it's kind of like for me, pretending to be dumb was an imposter of who I actually am, in my own opinion.
So, did you notice how I did that to make her answer the question?
Yeah, but I'm gonna get back to you because I know. But
nobody else fell for it either.
For me, that was my character. You know, I was pretending to be somebody that I'm not. I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. Have you ever pretended and I guess it does go back to pretending to be someone you're not. Either in your character, your attitude, or your actions. Have you ever, like your actions, done something that you didn't want to do because you didn't want to deal with the consequences? And I already know the answer to that one, so you better be truthful.
What you talking about, Willis? Yeah, and I just can't think right off what I've done. I'm sure you're sitting there thinking about it, obviously.
Have you ever had an attitude, whether good or bad, kind of like joining in with the crowd, so to speak, even though that's not what you believed?
On occasionally, but then there comes a point where
you kind of have to be yourself.
Yeah, but I don't usually let the crowd run me.
Yeah, I've never been popular with crowds.
I mean, I've let people fall to the wayside when they fell on their own sword.
Okay. Now that goes with our signs of self sabotage. Now
Yep.
I've only got 2 for ways to stop it, but we're gonna go into those 2. I hope a little more so people could understand.
And we're running over our time.
Today, figure out what makes you happy and do more of it. Figure out what doesn't and do less of it. I like that. Beth? What am I going to do with her, people? What am I going to do with her? What do you think?
This is true.
Now, for me, I don't like numbers. I cannot stand math. So I won't do it unless I have to. There's a game that Beth and I and her mom and a few people play called Rummy Cube. When we play it online or on the app, you have to have like 30 points to get on the board. And instead of adding them before I put it up there, I'll just put up what I want to put up because it won't let you go any further. It'll put a little thing up that have to have so many points. So I just put them up there to see if that thing comes up. And if it does, I'll just go ahead and do another round.
That's what you've been doing.
Yeah. And see, when I'm with Beth at her house or somebody else's house, I'm like, is this 30 points? That way I ain't got to add it.
I had no idea that's what you were doing in the game.
Because I cannot stand numbers. I have a tendency to reverse numbers. So I don't always see what other people see. So that is something that does not make me happy. So I don't do it. Now, what does make me happy? I love crafts. Love crafts. All right, young lady. Treat her like a child. Now, I love crafts. I love writing. Now, I don't write as often as I used to, as far as actual poems or stories or something. But I love it. And I do really need to do more of that. I've been told I'm good at it. So, Beth, is there stuff that you do that makes you happy and stuff that you don't do that you found it's easier just not to do it if you don't enjoy it? I know one thing you love to do that makes you happy.
What's that?
Drink wine.
Well, on certain days, yes, I do enjoy it. And there's sometimes when I like to just sit outside and enjoy the peacefulness of the surrounding, listening to some music and have a glass of wine just to kick back and chill.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know something that you and I do.
I like to go fishing too, and I love to ride, take a ride in the country, and you know.
Well, I know something you and I do love to do, especially in the summer, fall, springtime.
What's that?
And that's sitting out at your fireplace.
Yeah,
whatever.
by the fire pit. Yeah, I enjoy that too.
You and I making roasted marshmallows. You
Yep.
know, I got a little boy that wants to make his presents. So this here was one of them. All right, babe. All right. This here's another one. Just for today, I will not self-sabotage anything. Not my relationships, not my self-esteem, not my plans, not my goals, not my hopes, and not my dreams. The only one that I would struggle with on this one would be my self-esteem because, as I said, I criticize myself on a daily basis. And I know I have to stop. It's something that I'm trying to work on, but it's very hard.
Next.
You're not going to comment?
I had a thought, and then it was
While you're thinking, I'm going to put something else up.
It just left me. It went.
This here is something new that I had started putting the National Mental Health Hotline up. That is the number for that, and the National Suicide Hotline. That's the number for that. This is for the USA only. So I don't know if I have any viewers in another country, but this is for the USA only. I would not know how to find like a global thing. I don't know if there is a global thing. So if you're in another country, you'll have to do some research. Okay, but this is for USA, and I wanted to make sure we had this up. Now I've got a couple more things here that I just wanted to talk about. Your only limit is you. I'll let you start this time.
I'm trying to appear like I'm froze up.
And you're not. You can't stay still that long.
Your only limit is you, because you're the one that sets that ceiling. You can set the ceiling here. You can set the ceiling here and rise above it to the next floor. It all depends upon where you want to be in your life and where you want to be with yourself as to what your limitations are.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. If you see yourself only being a babysitter, not that there's anything wrong with it, because there's not. But if you always wanted to be a preschool teacher, but all you see yourself ever doing is a babysitter, but your dreams, and that's what they are dreams. Well, if you only see yourself here, then that dream's never going to come true. And dreams are only goals that haven't been set yet. Don't you agree?
Excellent. Excellent. Yes.
And I just thought of that.
Good job. Good job.
Okay. The next one is about sabotaging someone else. And I just wanted to touch this subject because it does happen. Okay. Some people aren't satisfied until they sabotage someone else's happiness. Be careful who you trust. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. And I'm sure we all have stories of that particular thing.
That's so true. So true.
You have to remember what I always say. No one can control your happiness. If you are not happy because of what someone else did, you are giving that control to that other person.
Mm-hmm. And always remember, too, there ain't no way that you can ever be happy with anybody else unless you're happy with yourself.
Yes. Yes. So true. So that is what I've got and all the stuff that I have looked up. So if anyone has any comments, please feel free to comment. I will now put that email back up so you can email me if you want. I enjoyed today's topic. It isn't an easy one because we all self-sabotage at some stage or at some point, even if it's whether consciously or unconsciously. I seen that.
I was just saying, and that's why I'm the goofball that tries to lighten the mood of it, because it's very hard subjects to talk about, and it's hard things to think about within your heart and within your head of putting words to some of it, because it is difficult. It's very difficult.
And I will have
and I always like to joke when it hits a difficult situation.
And I will have to say on Beth's part, she knows the topic, but that's as far as it generally goes. I'm always catching her off guard where I've had time to look at this, analyze it, and think about how we can use it. But this is all like first time she sees any of this stuff.
She did actually tell me what the subject was going to be this morning, which is not normally what she does. She usually, we get into the studio and she goes, and by the way, this is my subject for today.
Because I want it to be real.
That's the warning I get.
Because I want it to be real.
And then she poses all these questions, and when I try to act like freeze frame,
I don't let her. But Beth is good because she'll be thinking about this stuff tonight and throughout the week. So I know she will.
See, this is her psychoanalyzing me and trying to manipulate me throughout the week so that I'll do better as a human being having had this interaction. I know what she's doing. I know what she's doing.
But it works. But, well.
And we'll have to figure out what the topic of that conversation would be. Ways to manipulate Beth. Woo!
But remember, we're not healthcare providers. If you are triggered at any point, and I'll put that back up there, please call the number on the screens. If you're feeling unsafe, please call the suicide prevention hotline. And if you call 911, I was told about this today by a friend. When you call 911, if you need to, let the dispatcher know it is for a mental health reason, because they now have mental health people who could possibly come out with the police officers or instead of the police officers. So you just that's another tidbit of information I just found out today. Okay? And just remember, above all else.
Wait a minute, Melina. Stop sharing the screen. That way you get full screen back to you when you're closing out.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's all right.
I totally forgot I was sharing it.
I knew you did. That's why I tried to send you a message.
Oh, I didn't even see it pop up. Well, please reach out if you need help. That's what the people are there for. The mental health field is still, it's better than it used to be, but a lot of it is still, it's coming a long way.
It has. It's come a very long way.
I am very thankful for the people that are in my life, for the places that I have. And I was told that I can release the company that I deal with. My QP told me that I can say that it's Coastal. It used to be Coastal Behavioral Health. I don't know the full name anymore because they have changed companies. I just know it's still Coastal. So if you're in the Lincoln, Gastonia area or counties, Lincoln, Gaston counties, there we go.
And that's in North Carolina.
North Carolina. You can reach out to them. They are phenomenal. The people that are on my own team, I wouldn't trade for the world. So
super people for her to work with.
So that is the one thing that I do know. There are other places in this area, and of course, use the internet. You know, you have resources at hand that Beth and I didn't have growing up. Beth's mom didn't have when she was growing up. So we now have resources where we can really find the help we need if we're willing to put in the work. And remember, I emphasize that if we are willing to put in the work. So please keep yourself safe above everything else. That's the main thing. Above all else, keep yourself safe.
Be good to you.
Bye, everyone. See you next week.